Welcome to Peacemakers and Community Builders. In this podcast series, we aim to shine a spotlight, bring a little light to local grassroots efforts to decrease the violence, increase the peace, and build community. My name is Aaron Thompson with the MK Gandhi Institute for Nonviolence. And as our very first guest in this series, I'm pleased to bring to you Mr. Devon Reynolds.
How you doing?
Morning, bro.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
All right. Devon, tell us a little bit about, it's almost kind of difficult to know where to jump in with you because you're a person who's involved and has been involved in a lot of different efforts to build up your community, right? Give us kind of the basics right now. I know that you're the proprietor, partner in Brothers and Sisters Unisex Salon.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how that came to be, and then we'll get into some of your other activities.
So 2015, me and my brother decided to open up a salon. Actually, April 5th.
Okay.
Yeah. So we celebrated 7 years this year. Fast forward, we own 2 salons right now, one on Dewey Avenue, one on Lyle.
Yep.
And been a barber for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been a barber for 15 years. And I want to change it for the world.
Right on. Mm-hmm. Now, these salons, these are kind of your base of operations, obviously, as a barber and such. Speak to some of the other activities that you have going on.
So we're opening up a food pantry, soup kitchen, clothes cupboard type of ordeal. That's been in the works for the last 5 years. So at first it started off inside of the salon, and it's making its way and blossoming this year with its own storefront.
Okay. And what is that called?
Sweet Ida Mae's Pantry.
Sweet Ida Mae's Pantry.
Yes.
All right. And how'd you come up with that name?
So it's named after my grandma, who was into the charitable work.
Mm-hmm.
She used to lead the kitchen congregation at the church.
Mm-hmm.
And they would go out, feed the homeless, and things of that nature.
Okay.
My mom used to do the same thing. She was part of the LGBTQ community.
All right.
And she used to do AIDS awareness weeks where she would cook, feed those that was homeless, who was dealing with the AIDS battle, and just picking up the pieces. Mm-hmm. Yeah, where they left off at.
So in a sense, you kind of fell into this naturally. Yeah.
Born into it.
Right. Now, so the feeding piece is something that you've been active in, getting the community fed.
Yes.
I read a quote of yours that the long-term answer to curbing violence, just kind of shifting over to that for a moment, is investment in poorer communities.
Yes. And I got that concept from Dr. Claude Anderson. Mm-hmm. So he has a series of books. One called Powernomics. Mm-hmm. The other one is called Black Labor, White Wealth, I believe. And those concepts he really grasped and touched on. Also, Carter G. Wilson, the Miseducation of the Negro. Okay. All kind of hinted to us being in poverty, which is the reason for higher crime. Mm-hmm. So that was my goal. So
it seems like you take kind of a holistic approach to the community's ills, as opposed to just like targeting strictly like violence intervention efforts, like focusing on violence per se. Mm-hmm. You know, another quote, you talk about how you say at times you become pessimistic about the reality around us. And I think you were referencing that as some of like an underlying cause of some of how we conduct ourselves and act self-destructively.
Yes.
That sense of pessimism that sets in.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about that. And how you and how you address it.
It's easy to get discouraged, especially with the crime rate. I think we was at 90 murders last year, and we was outside. We was stopping violence events, boots on the ground, but crime still escalated. So that's where it's easy to get discouraged. But having a proper knowledge of the situations, you understand why it's escalating, and it really pushes you to try to do more, other than the rallies, other than the marching, other than just the advocacy, but actually setting up programs, and or having organizations, having coalitions of organizations coming together and actually working hand in hand to accomplish these goals.
Talk a little bit about that. Who are some of these people who you work in concert with?
So Rock to Peace is a big factor. The organization that I'm part of, I'm one of the founder members of CJI.
What's that stand for?
Community Justice Initiative.
The
hardest working grassroots organization in Rochester. Pathways to Peace. We have Free the People. And it's a slew of individuals who come together and put resources together.
Yeah. That collective approach is major, and it's it's a challenge sometimes to get people to coordinate, right?
Yes.
How do you navigate that?
It's putting the pride to the side, being understanding, and just trying to have patience when we speak to each other. And if we could come together on social issues, then we could definitely come together on political issues and avoid the schisms that we see take place every election.
So on that front, so you've been active on a lot of different levels, boots on the ground, as you say, and I want to talk about some of these specific sorts of events and initiatives that you've spearheaded. But as an individual in your own right, being a part of your Maplewood Neighborhood Association, being a part of what's the political group? GRN.
Yes, GRN. Yeah. Greater New York, Rochester.
Yeah. And that's a political action.
Yeah, political action. Yeah, absolutely.
Committee. Okay, and the aim there is to get folks
to put
engaged.
Resources. Yes, it's to put resources behind political figures that we see is pro-black. In a sense. Plain
spoken, right there, man.
So our goals is to actually be able to put money and not just votes behind a politician. So when we get into office, we can hold them accountable.
Right. I'm hearing you. You've held things like community forums and roundtables.
Yes.
Out of the barbershop.
Yes.
Right. How have they gone, and what is the feedback from the community been?
It is it's mixed. We usually started packing the house further into our initiative for that. So in the first couple of meetings, it wasn't as much. But I was able to reach out to certain speakers and influencers. And we was able to fill the house up. Also initiatives where we do, incentives where we do free haircuts, free food, things of that nature to intrigue more people to come in. But after we get them in the door, they always stay around. We have done political events where I would go to the local church and have the politicians who's running for seats that year come in, be able to ask questions. Our hopes is for this year to be able to have a debate, host debates
between political candidates.
But we want to be able to have a Black caucus where we are able to decide amongst the community who we want to push forward.
Okay.
And I'm only following the blueprint of other cultures that I see in Rochester.
Okay.
I have never seen an Asian run against another Asian. I have never seen another Jew run against another Jew.
Okay.
This is the way that other cultures are succeeding and beating us. And if we can just follow the blueprint and implement what we see, then we might have a fighting chance.
I'm hearing you, and you're looking at that translating to real resources flowing into the community, and providing opportunity for folks. Are there any wins, any victories along the way that you can point to, elements of outcomes of some of these various efforts that you've set off that you can?
Boots on the ground.
Yeah.
We just was able to get the Naila's law where it stops police from arresting or detaining the kids if the guardians is being arrested at that time.
Right.
Naila was 10 years old when this happened to her. We was told a lot of different stories that she was being unruly, pulling away. We got the footage and we seen the total opposite.
And she was cuffed and such.
Yeah, cuffed and everything. And you could just see the apathy that the cops had. I don't think if it was a different race, it would happen. So we actually got that bill put on the Senate floor, and hopefully we get a vote on that soon. So make sure you go vote. Jeremy Cooney he presented it to the Senate.
Okay.
And hopefully we could get it passed.
Props to Jeremy Cooney.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's bringing it full circle, because there was a large amount of activism in the streets.
Yes, for that.
Making the community's position felt, but it didn't end there. To your point earlier, we were saying we got to go beyond protesting and such. So you're recognizing on the one hand the need for that
marches and rallies, but we have to do more. It just can't stop at marches and rallies. Right. It has to go further. We need that to be able to draw up the recognition, to get the awareness, but also take it a step further and try to get laws passed and approach these politicians to back it, and to support it, and that's how we make a difference.
Love it. Now, you're a relatively young brother. Do you mind sharing how old you are?
I am 30.
You're 30.
Yes.
So you've had your foot on the gas for some time.
I feel like I started late though. When we look back into the 60s, the 70s, they were young brothers.
Yes.
16, 17, 18.
So those are people who you draw your inspiration from.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm comparing. That's the litmus test of what I'm doing. And I definitely started off young, because I didn't have knowledge of self. I didn't know who I was, my culture, where we fell from. And so now for these last 7 years, it's just to elevate my generation and just set a better example for my kids.
Yes.
At an earlier age, where they can pick up this and take it another step.
All right. Almost ready to wrap it. I just want to touch on a couple more issues. This matter of intergenerational coordination and cooperation. Do you have a position on that?
Yeah, definitely.
And the state of affairs, especially in the Black community?
Yeah, especially our community. And Carter G. Wilson talked about this in The Miseducation of the Negro. And it's that we need our elders for their wisdom and not to lead. It seems like the Black leadership wants to die in that position and not pass it off. We also have to build up our kids. Some people we're not going to be able to save. I know in the Bible it says everybody's not going to heaven. When he comes back, it's only 144,000 that'll be accepted. Even though everybody got saved. And that's the reality of it, that we're not going to be able to save everybody. And if we take our focus and our energy and invested in the kids, like Frederick Douglass said, being from his hometown, we may be able to build up the generation that we need. And trying to repair broken people might be a waste of time at this point of where we at. And that's just being pragmatic about it.
I'm hearing you.
But we do need all three. We need the younger, and the older to come together and work together, be able to break down different philosophies and ideas and take the best of it and pass it along.
Brothers and sisters might be a place for that to happen.
Yes, sir. It will be the place.
So is there anything coming up that folks should be aware of?
So Sweet Ida Mae Pantry grand opening is April 4th.
April 4th, 2022.
Yep, 12 o'clock. We'll be doing a ribbon cutting for that. We have a Malcolm X Day coming up in May. It'll be a 3-day weekend, a ball, family day, and an educational piece sponsored by CJI. We have our community garden starting back up again. We're looking for volunteers. It's called the Liberation Garden.
Food garden or
both. So we do plants like flowers and also food. Use the food for the pantry. But we just teach the kids the germination of the seed, the anatomy of the plant and how it's similar to ours, and just get reconnected with our past and with our families.
Indeed.
Yeah.
There's a whole slew of this. You've held Black History Month events, Father's Day celebrations. There's like a heavy, like almost like a mentorship thread that runs through some of these things in terms of celebrating and holding to account Black men in the community. Maybe that's a part two for our conversation. You know,
definitely need more Black men to step up, as well as give the recognition to the ones who are there. So this fight can't just be led by the women. As powerful as they are, they need their counterpart.
Yes.
And every other nation is the man and the woman.
Indeed.
And we're no different. So
yeah,
man, woman, and child. We need all of them.
Yep, the Trinity. All right. How can people reach out?
Sweet Ida Mae Pantry at gmail.com.
Yep.
My phone number is 585-230-3703.
All right. Any parting words?
Please drop off all food items. So the pantry is absolutely free, and we will need the inventory to keep up with the demand.
Because you're giving away food free to folks.
Yes.
Y'all heard that, right? So it's heavily dependent then.
Yes.
On the community support.
Yes, I'm not a non-for-profit.
Right.
So we need everything we can get. We'll be having hot breakfast in the morning and hot lunch as well. So we're starting up the breakfast initiative.
Appreciate you, Devon Reynolds. Amen. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. This has been Aaron Thompson with the Gandhi Institute, chatting with my brother Devon Reynolds. Reach out, get involved, and thank you for watching.